Good morning, everyone. This is Farki A.S. from Sri Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj College of Engineering. The topic which I am going to discuss today is classes, objects, and method. Basically, today I am going to cover some part of the topic, that is introduction, defining a class, creating an object, and access class members. Coming to the part of the introduction, now basically, what is a class? It is an underlying structure of each Java program. Because what happens, a class is nothing but it is a data type which has a method and a function. So when I'm speaking about a function and a method is nothing but how you are defining it. What are the steps of defining a function? For example, when we speak about an algorithm, if algorithm is a step-by-step representation of a code, then a method is nothing but the step-by-step alignment of your function. And in that way, the classes is nothing but it needs to define a function of that specific object. So when I say for example, I need to create an object like a dog, I need to define it. What is the function of a dog? How a dog is going to bark? What is the actual functionality behind the object who behaves like a dog? I have to think of it. And with respect to its manner, I have to convert its manner into a function, because that function is going to give me an identity of the object. Sometimes we also say that object is nothing but a set of combination of classes, because I may say in some classes the function definition may be different. So when I see about a classes here, I am having a class, a method, a function. With respect to a basic program I am creating on it, and after creating a basic program I am going to get an object. Now most of the times when we speak about an object is nothing but it behaves like the way which we define into a class. So in short, for me, an object is like a small child. If you don't teach him how to behave, if you don't teach him how he has to behave, the child is not going to behave. So here if I'm saying it, if I'm not going to provide an instruction to an object, the object is not going to behave in that manner. It is going to be neutral. So that is nothing but an object. When I define a class, it is a user defined data type. Now usually when I speak about a class, I have to define what functionalities that specific object must have to be. What functionalities? Secondly, if I am having a functionality, then I have to define the actual behavior of that functionality in a class, because an object is identified by only a class. The object is identified by only a class. Secondly, when I'm speaking about a variable and functions, they have to be created into a class. Just because if I say I need to create an object which has a multitaskings, if they say that I have to create an object with multitasking functions, means what? I am defining a different functionalities for that specific object. Like for example, again if I took an example like a small child. When I speak about a small child, he needs to cry, he needs to laugh, he needs to eat, he needs to run, he needs to sit, and then he needs to sleep. These activities for me is nothing but functions. But I am defining the function, means what? I am creating a specific object by defining this all n number of functions. So when I am defining this all n number of functions into one object, I say that specific object is a multitasking object. I say it as a multitasking objects. So say for example, I have taken a code like here. A syntax is given to me, let's say class, then class name. In a field declaration, I have to declare actually what I need. So here in a syntax is here is nothing but it is a principle that how I am going to use it. So when I am using it, what actually I am doing is I am defining the type of that object here. Say for example, in an example, a class is given. Okay, I have to consider a class. Area is a object. Now when I speak about an area, we are damn sure about a mathematical. We need to check the side, we need to check the length. So with respect to this part, by these two declaration variables, I am going to calculate the working of my objects, and then I have to define a method. Method is nothing but again it is going to execute it in that specific manner. So this part is nothing but a defining a class. So now when I'm defining a method declaration, when I'm doing it, what I'm doing is, without method class has no life. Just because if I am not unable to explain, if I'm unable to explain the sequence of execution within the object, within the class of an object, how I'm going to execute it? Because if for example you have created a set of code but you have not designed it in a proper sequence, how it is going to execute it? Because unless and until you don't define the execution with respect to sequence, your object is not going to work. And when your object is not going to work, means what? Your object is unable to identify the task defined by you in terms of instructions. That is a very big problem here then. And method here is what? Here I am putting a sequence while executing it. Now when we need a method, usually when I'm speaking about, when I want to say that I want to create one object who is going to have a multitasking functionalities, at the time and I have to or I need methods, because here the working of a method is nothing but it is going to put a sequence in my code. When a sequence is assigned in my code, then only the object is going to behave with respect to sequentiality. Or if in case you put the whole instruction set into a random format, into a random manner, then the object may show you a failure, there may be an error, because object is unable to identify the execution while executing it, or while compiling, or while creating the final object. Again, methods are necessary for manipulating data. Yes, it is necessary. Why it is necessary? Because when we speak about the manipulating of a data, what we are actually doing is you are exchanging a somewhat of information. Now again, if I'm speaking about the information here is what? Sometimes you define a functionality as a part of information. Sometimes you define a class as a functionality in your object. So whenever we speak about a method, so see, if I'm saying about a method is used for mostly the methods we prefer for the multitaskings. So if with respect to multitasking execution, if I am unable to manipulate the data with respect to execution, then that specific object is no longer is going to have a functionality of executing, or has no functionality to call himself as a multitasking objects. So again, a syntax is given, a type, method name, parameter. Now void is there, integer is there, float is there, and double is there. So if I consider it as in terms of example, see, I'm again giving an integer value right from a side, integer value as my length. Then I'm calculating the integer of a side value, I'm calculating the integer of a length value, and then I'm declaring it, what is my side and what is my length. So in this manner, I'm executing the two different tasks, two different values are being calculated here. When I create an object, actually an object in Java is essential a block of a memory that contains a space to store all the instance variable. Now what happens here, when an object in a Java is created, we use it by a new only. So secondly, what happens here is, when a syntax is in a syntax, if we have defined a class name, an object, and if I write a object name equal to new class name, means what? I am again defining a sub object, or I am again defining a new object for that specific object. And then I am again creating a multitasking, or I am declaring the multiple variables with respect to functionalities, defining on the specific type of that object. That is the actual functionality, and it needs to work like this only. So say for example, if I'm saying about, if I'm taking a code, say something area AL is again my object name. With respect to it, I'm considering a new area. When I'm considering a new area, means what? Again I am calling the same value, the value which I am defined with respect to the side and length for the same new area, but now the value defined in a new area in terms of side and length is changed. So this is because you're creating an object within an object. You're creating an object within an object. Now accessing a class members, actually values are assigned to a class variable in order to we use them in a program. How we use them? Say for example, a code is being taken here for a Java. I have defined a side, I have defined a base, I have defined a height. I took a float just because I am dealing with numeric numbers. When I am defining with respect to numeric number, again I am going to get an answer as the area of a square in a numeric value. So whenever there is a use of a numeric value, we preferably go for a float values. So here When I'm creating it, I'm calculating the float for S, which may be a side. I'm calculating a float for B, which is a base, and I'm calculating a value for my height also. So when I'm creating it, I'm defining a side value with by S, I'm defining a base with a B value, I'm defining H with a height value. Now I am calculating it. Area of triangle is somewhat base of height and by 2. And then what we are doing is, when a numeric value is being passed, for calculating the actual output, that numeric value is calculated by the term of a logic which you define for area of a triangle, and then from it we create the output, and then from system.out.println you get the answer. The area of a square is somewhat. So this is what a parameter. I have passed a parameter. I have defined a class. I have defined the functionality here. With respect to functionality, I have defined a variables here. With respect to variable, I am defining the type of variable, because if I am speaking about a float, I am actually dealing with the numeric values. And with respect to it, I am calculating the area of that specific triangle, or it may be a square also. So it depends on it. A constructor. When I speak about a constructor is nothing but an object to initialize within themselves when they are created. So for example, if I say that initialize an object, okay, you are defining it same name as a class, which means what? Syntactically it is similar to that method, and then an object is created, but it does not have a return type. For example, when I come to a code, when I took a code, I came to a code. See, when I'm writing a box here, in a code, I have defined an integer, length, breadth, height, box. Here, there is no need of having a return type value, just because I know the object which I'm going to pass here is going to give me an answer, because just I'm having a float with me. But when we compare it with respect to a C language, what happens in a C, you need an integer to call a return. There is no need of a void. There is no need to have a return value when we are not considering a void. Oh, sorry, when we are considering a void, there is no need to have return values. So here you have already defining the parameters. With respect to definition of a parameters, you're creating, you're passing a values, variable values within it. A function is being implemented by a program or a logic or a formula. You're manipulating a formula in terms of your logic. And with respect to it, you're creating the output. Say for example, I'm getting an output like this. When I'm passing a value, I get a output somewhat, a length is equal to 20, then I'm getting a breadth, and then I'm getting a height. Means what? I have created it. I have passed a value and I've got the value as in terms of output. So this is how I'm creating within it. I'm passing a value within it. Now method overloading. Usually when we speak about a method overloading, methods have the same name but different parameter. Now say again the same thing comes. Say for example, I may have if I'm creating a database of an employee, my employee is actually a domain which I am working currently. Employee, but with respect to employee, the parameter which I am passing from an employee are different. It may be ID number are different, the names are different, the salaries are different, the departments are different, the actual working or the job roles are different. So with respect to employee, I cannot judge one specific type, but by passing a number of parameters, I am defining the actual functionality of that specific method, because I want to have an object with a method which is going to retain its identity here. I need to have it. So here the methods overloading is being done. Sometimes if you say why there is a need of a method overloading, what happens when we expect multitasking from a specific object, we expect multiple declarations, and when we expect multiple declarations, then we have to define that specific multiple declarations is subject to what part of an object. Sometimes we call it as a polymorphisms also, because what happens, we cannot judge an object by only one method, and one method is not enough number to judge a specific object. So when we have to judge a specific object, we have to define it with respect to specific criteria, and that criteria are nothing but a method which you are imposing on an object, and which makes that object an identity or an identical object in that methods. Say for example, see again here it is given like this, several method definitions all with the same name but a different parameter. Same thing, I am using the same employee name, but I am analyzing that employee with respect to specific criteria. Now I have a other point, call by value and call by reference. So again, when I speak about a value, it is specific. My call by value is going to give me a specific value which is being passed through a formal parameter of a subroutine. But when I'm speaking about a call by reference, it is not going to give me a specific value, but it is going to give me a value which is somewhat nearby that specific value. So if you expect that the access of a data for a call by value is less than that of call by reference, then you're wrong. Because when we speak about a call by value, you get an actual value which you have put in to search the specific values. But with respect to reference, we just check it with respect to somehow which is related to that specific or not a specific but a nearby value. Here specificness is not allowed just because we deal with a value which is somewhat near to it but not actually it. So this is what the call by value and call by reference deals about it. So if I would say that a change is made to the parameter of a subroutine have no effect because it is an actual value. But here with respect to reference it has to, because I am not modifying the actual content with a value here, but I am adding a somewhat of a value here. So it will have an effect, no? Say for example, if I need to search a 5 and I'm getting a 4.9 and I'll say okay, 4.9 is there, so I'll go add a 4.95, but the actual value which I need to check is 5. But what I am doing is I'm putting a 4.95 is what I'm again increasing the quantity of a value within the that specific value which is being called by a reference. Now recursion is what? It is a process of defining something in terms of itself. Now something means what? You are recursively checking the same content in a same specific object again and again, assuming that every time you will check, he'll give you the different performance. Now again I am speaking about a performance just because my performance are more constantly specific to my space complexity and time complexity. The more recursion I am going to take place, the less is the time complexity required. But if I speak about the more recursion, the space complexity will be more. So this was the end of my topic here, objects and method. If you have any query, you can drop a mail to me at akshayphalke3@gmail.com. Thank you so much.